All right, welcome back everybody. It's May 25th, just about 1 o'clock, and it is getting hot here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's currently 91 degrees. It feels like 96. The humidity is kind of low at 47%, but still hot. All right, so a few things today. Main focus is to get into hive number 3 and nuke number 1 down there behind me. So I came out on Wednesday because it had been a while since I really checked on hive number 3, which was the swarm we caught on May 5th, and then moved them over into the bee yard about a week later. Fed them a gallon of 1-to-1 sugar water within a week. They consumed it all, and obviously they started building out all the frames very well. Solid queen. I was looking forward to seeing what she was going to do throughout the year, and she did something I wasn't counting on and swarmed. So I came out Wednesday, I was looking for that hive. Noticed no eggs, really started looking for the queen, no queen clearly, and on frames 6, 7, or 8, 2 frames, I can't remember which ones, there was 11 mature capped queen cells. So again, tore through the colony, spent a good maybe 20-30 minutes looking for the queen, eggs, no sign of either. A lot of spun larvae and capped brood, so the queen was there, well, over 3 days ago, so maybe somewhere between 4 and 9 days ago. So I determined, hey, this colony doesn't have a queen, however they have 11 queen cells. Seems like a lot, so what am I going to do? So I grabbed frame 8, I believe, one of them. It had 4 capped queen cells. I moved that into the nuke behind me, along with one other frame of food, and the nuke had 3 brand new frames. So I really want to get into hive 3. I'm going to do that first, and then the nuke to see if the queens have emerged yet. Alright, so here we go. Let's get into hive 3, and I moved the frame with the queens into the 5th position, so right in the center. So this should be a quick check. I'm just going to move one of the first few frames out of the way, give myself some room to work. So as I lift up frame 5, the idea, of course, is to not damage the queen cells. So if you're curious to see what the queen cells look like, if you go onto our Instagram or Facebook page, I posted a picture on Wednesday because I was out in the bee yard and I wasn't prepared. I didn't have my camera with me, so that's the best I could do. Alright, so like I said, I know I put them on frame 5, so let's give ourselves some room to work. And let's take a look at frame 5. Yep. Alright, here we go. And the camera spun. I wasn't paying attention. So as you can see, let me smoke them a little bit. There's a better look. So we got 1, 2, there's 3 of them there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 or 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go. Okay, let's start over from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 queen cells on this one frame. So I have absolutely no doubts that these bees and this colony will survive. They will do just fine. It's just a matter of time for these queen cells to hatch. So, since I knew that was there on frame 5, let's go through real quick and just take a look at the rest of the frames. There wasn't much. Let's see, not much going on there. What's this, frame 4? Frame 4, bees just working it, building some combs, storing some nectar. 5. Just looked at it. 6. There really shouldn't be any other activity as far as queen cells. I am surprised to see that they created those additional ones, because there was 7 that I was remembering from last time. So they made another 4 queen cells in the last 4 days since Wednesday. And this is frame 8. Yeah, the previous queen, I was really disappointed that they had swarmed and I didn't catch it in time, because she was a worker. She built up a ton of brood, solid brood patterns, and it always kind of stinks when queens with those kind of genetics leave. And my wife was asking if I could tell by, just first glance, noticeably fewer bees. And at first I said no, but now that I'm back out here, it does seem like there are fewer bees in here than there were about a week or 2 ago. Alright, so now let's take another look at frame 5. So now frame 5 has, whatever I had counted, so from the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 queen cells on one frame. Alright, so they're still doing their thing. They're still trying to re-queen this hive, and with 15 queen cells, I'd say they're doing okay. So that's it for hive 3. Let's go look at the nuke and see what they've been up to since Wednesday. Okay, let's take a look at the nuke. I put and this is different for me with the bees facing me, but let's see how they're doing. So I put the frame with the 4 queen cells right in the center. Let's give them a little smoke. Let's give ourselves some room to work. So we'll move frame 1 out of the way. And I didn't shake any bees into this colony. There were quite a few bees on the frames that I had transferred over. And this frame was just, it still is, a lot of nectar and some honey. And this frame had some good food on it too, but this frame has the queen cells as well, and a lot of capped brood. So that queen cell there is new on the left, and that has a pupating larva in it. As you can see, it starts to spin. So there's no eggs. There's no eggs around the surrounding capped brood. But on this side, something that I noticed on the other colony too, is you can see, I don't know if this is as the queens are growing or a sign if they're about to emerge, but you can see the color difference in the capped cells. So there's quite a few bees that stayed in here, which is great. I didn't close up the colony or anything for a day or 2 like some people do. So that's frame 3. So I plan on coming out next week as well, and I would imagine by next week one of those queens should emerge by then. And they say after a queen emerges, it takes them about 5 days to mate and return. So the following week, so 2 weeks from now, which will be first weekend of June, should start seeing some evidence of a mated queen, which is in the form of eggs. So for all the new beekeepers, I was always concerned about finding the queen. Not completely necessary, because if you can find evidence of the queen in the form of eggs or an egg for 1 to 3 days, so if you can find evidence of the queen, that's perfectly fine as well. Alright, so now let's get into hive number 1. Actually, you know what? Let's do something else first. So I transferred hive 4 here from my buddy's house Saturday night. He had caught a swarm. He said the swarm had been in the swarm box for about a month. It was a 5-frame swarm box, not the 40 liter. I made a post on that last week. So it didn't have all the space that my swarm traps do, so they didn't put a lot of new comb. They had 1 frame, some pretty funky comb because the spacing was off. But I transferred them into this box last week. I have not provided them any feed, so they've been in here for a week. Still the honey flow, it's kind of the tail end of it here. Let's take a look into this colony and see what they've been up to in the last week. So it was a 4-frame, yeah, it was a 4-frame swarm trap. So just like mine, I put 6 brand new frames of, well, brand new frames and foundation in there, no drawn wax or comb or anything. Checkerboarded them. So let's see what they've been up to in the last week. So just like my other videos, you should be able to tell the difference between the new frames and the old frames. The newer frames are lighter in color, the older frames are discolored a little bit. I don't see anything or much going on in frame 1, which is pretty normal. Let's see, frame 2, older frame, and I can't remember what came out of the box, the trap or not. So they have been storing some nectar, which is always a good thing. Frame 3, new frame, got some bees on it. And you know what, I wasn't going to show you because there's probably not much going on, but you can see they're starting to build out some wax, so that's a good thing. Frame 4 and 5 are kind of stuck together. It's pretty light, but nice brood. And then to the left of the brood, probably can't tell from that far away, there are eggs, quite a few eggs. So queen's still in here, she's still doing her thing. This brood, or this built comb there is kind of weird just because of how it's built off of the frame, but there's eggs throughout, so they're doing exactly what they need to be doing. Frame number 5, this was a new frame, and if you can see this, brand new frame, brand new foundation, this is all brand new wax, and the queen is maximizing all her space and has laid eggs all the way out to these cells here. So I imagine as they continue to build the comb, she'll keep filling in the cells with eggs, and that's what a new bee looks like. If you look at the surrounding bees, this one's very light in color, so that's what a new bee looks like, which is most likely serving the purpose of a nurse bee. And then same thing on this side. So this is a pretty good queen. I mean, she's filling in every cell with eggs. That's frame 5. It's a nice look at frame 6. Pretty solid brood. Well, very solid brood. The cells that are not filled in contain pollen. I don't have my flashlight, but I would imagine the cells that are not capped on the right side probably have eggs in them. So that's frame 6. And here's a look at frame 7. So from the left side to the right, there's little white grains of rice. Those are all eggs. So this queen is very good, very strong. Kind of reminds me of the queen that was in hive number 3 before they swarmed. So I'll have to keep an eye on this pretty closely, considering a swarm builds up rather fast. So either add a box or make a split. And this was the odd frame I was talking about. And as you can see, just by moving it like that, damaged some of the comb and the brood. So they had built the comb out kind of oddly because, and you can see it moves, just because that's the spacing. That's how the spacing was in the swarm trap. So, you know, take a note, if your spacing isn't right, they'll build comb off of the plastic foundation. Alright, so that's hive number 4. Sorry for the shaking camera. But yeah, they've been out here for a week. Haven't fed them any supplemental sugar water, and they're doing just fine. They're continuing to build out new comb. The queen's laying eggs in practically every cell. Swarms are noticeably a lot calmer than bees that are established, an established big colony that's been in the location for a while.